All right, welcome to your deep dive. You ready to get into this billionaire mindset thing?
Absolutely. And we've got some juicy excerpts from Think Like a Billionaire by Scott Anderson to help us out.
Yeah, this book is packed with insights.
Hmm.
And some of them are pretty surprising. Like, did you know the average American only reads like one book a year?
It's true. And get this, billionaires are reading 2 per week. That's like over 60 books a year.
No wonder they're crushing it. They're constantly feeding their minds with knowledge.
It's a huge advantage. It's not just about money, it's about how they think about money.
So that leads us to the book's first big idea. One change will produce wealth. And it boils down to this. The rich see money as a tool to build more wealth, while most of us see it as a way to buy stuff.
Exactly. Think about it. If your focus is on spending, you're always going to be chasing that next purchase. But if you shift your focus to investing, you're opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
And it really changes how you view your job, too. The book argues that your job is fuel for your investments, not just a way to pay for your lifestyle.
It's about building a system where your money is working for you, not the other way around.
And here's something to chew on. The book points out that most of us actually make $20,000 to $30,000 more per year than we did a decade ago. But we often end up with the same amount left over at the end of the month anyway. So where does it all go?
It's lifestyle creep. Our expenses tend to grow right along with our income. We get a raise, and suddenly we need a nicer car, a bigger house, fancier vacations.
But the book says that's the opposite of how billionaires think. They budget around their investments first, and then they figure out their lifestyle.
It's a complete mindset shift. They prioritize building wealth, and then they enjoy the fruits of their labor.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
Okay, so speaking of mindset, things get really interesting when the book dives into money from a spiritual angle. It really tackles that idea that maybe Christians shouldn't be wealthy head on.
Absolutely. It dismantles that notion of spiritual poverty and argues that true wealth is about using your resources to, well, make God bigger in the world.
The author talks about how his dad, who was a pastor, always encouraged his congregation to strive for success so they could be more generous and impactful with their resources.
It's a powerful concept. It challenges us to view wealth as a tool for good, a way to make a positive difference.
The next section, Seeking Wisdom, really speaks to that. It talks about how billionaires are constantly learning, especially about investing and personal growth.
Remember that statistic about how much more they read? That's a huge part of their success. They're constantly seeking out knowledge that can help them make better decisions.
And they understand what the book calls the language of the wealthy.
Right. They know how to speak the language of finance and investing. They can spot opportunities that others miss because they've done their homework.
The book even compares it to the parable of the fishermen in Luke 5. Remember, Jesus had to teach the disciples how to fish before they could haul in that massive catch.
It's like that. You need to understand the principles of wealth creation before you can experience that kind of abundance.
And speaking of knowing the language, the author tells this great story about how his understanding of real estate investing helped him make like a $200,000 profit on a land deal.
It shows that knowledge really is power. The more you learn, the more prepared you'll be to recognize and seize those golden opportunities.
Okay, so we've talked about seeing money as a tool and seeking wisdom, but the book says it's not enough to just have a budget. You need a vision.
Right, a clear picture of what your ideal financial future looks like, and that's where a lot of people fall short.
Yeah, they might have some vague ideas about wanting to be rich, but they haven't really defined what that means for them.
And the book emphasizes the difference between budgeting and vision. Budgeting can feel restrictive, like you're constantly telling yourself no. But vision is inspiring. It gives you something to work towards and makes you excited about the future.
And it reminds me of the story of the widow's oil in 2 Kings 4. Remember how her jars just kept overflowing with oil as long as she had empty jars to fill them?
Yeah, that's a great example of the power of having a container for your blessings.
If you have a clear vision for what you want to create, the resources will show up.
The story emphasizes the power of thinking big and setting ambitious goals.
Don't limit your vision, because that will limit your potential.
Exactly. And the author has this really cool suggestion. He says, write yourself a check for your desired net worth.
I love that. It might seem a bit silly, but I can see how it would make your vision feel more real and tangible.
It's about turning that abstract goal into something you can see and touch.
Right. And it reminds me of the power of visualization. Athletes use it all the time to achieve peak performance.
It works, and it can work for our financial goals too.
Okay, so we've got our vision, But now what? The book stresses the importance of commitment.
It's about taking action and making a conscious choice to align your actions with your goals, even when it's challenging.
It's not enough to just dream about it. You have to be willing to put in the work.
Exactly. And the book gets really practical here. It suggests treating your tithe, offerings, and investments as essential bills, non-negotiable expenses that you prioritize in your budget.
It's like flipping the script on traditional budgeting. You put your spiritual and financial growth first, and then you figure out the rest.
And it makes sense. When you prioritize your long-term vision, everything else falls into place.
The book also talks about identifying those bad habits that are draining our finances. Those daily lattes, impulse purchases online, subscriptions we never use.
It's amazing how much money we waste on things we don't even really need or enjoy.
The book gives this crazy example of how even cutting out a daily soda and investing that money instead could grow into millions of dollars over a lifetime.
That's the power of compounding. Small, consistent choices can lead to massive results.
So the challenge is to identify those bad habits, figure out how much they're costing us, and then commit to getting rid of them.
And then we take that money and put it straight into our investments. It's a simple concept, but it takes discipline and a shift in perspective.
Now, speaking of shifting perspectives, the book has this whole section about how billionaires prepare today for the opportunities of tomorrow.
They understand that success is rarely a lucky accident. It's about being prepared, knowledgeable, and ready to capitalize on opportunities when they arise.
Like the story of Dr. Joyce Brothers. She became this famous TV personality, but it all started because she knew a ton about boxing, of all things.
Random, right. But it led to her winning big on a game show, and that launched her whole career.
It just goes to show that you never know what seemingly random knowledge might open doors for you.
Exactly. It highlights the importance of being a lifelong learner and embracing curiosity.
So the book challenges us to dedicate time each day to learning and preparing for our goals. That can mean reading, listening to podcasts, taking courses, or even just having conversations with people who are doing what we aspire to do.
It's about investing in yourself and your future.
All right, you ready for this next one? It's pretty bold. The book states, "You already failed if you don't take risks."
It's a powerful reminder that staying stuck in our comfort zones is the biggest failure of all.
The book reframes failure as a stepping stone to success. It points out that most successful people have probably failed way more times than we can even imagine. But they kept going.
They understood that each failure was an opportunity to learn and grow.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it as part of the process.
It's about having that growth mindset and understanding that setbacks are inevitable, but they don't define us.
And the book even suggests writing down a commitment to take action and not let fear hold us back.
Love that. It's a great way to solidify our intention and remind ourselves that we're capable of achieving great things.
Okay, so now let's talk about this really intriguing concept called the corridor principle.
It's the idea that when you take that first step of faith toward your goals, the resources and opportunities you need will appear along the way.
Like a hidden path that reveals itself as you move forward.
Exactly. The book shares a couple of stories to illustrate this. There's one about a friend of the author who went from broke to owning multiple businesses just by taking action and trusting that things would work out.
He didn't have all the answers, but he just started moving, and the path unfolded before him.
It's a great example of the power of combining faith with action.
And then there's the author's own story about a splat toy business.
Yeah.
He had this idea, but not all the pieces were in place. He just took a leap of faith, ordered a ton of these toys, and trusted he'd figure out the rest.
And you know what? It worked.
He found distributors, retailers, even amusement parks, all because he took that initial step.
Talk about the corridor opening up. It's
Yeah.
a powerful reminder that sometimes the hardest part is just beginning.
Okay, get ready for another bold statement. The next section is titled, Try, 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 Try. Oh, and try again.
Persistence is everything. Successful people don't give up easily.
You know what they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And the book argues that businesses often fail, not because the idea was bad, but because people just give up too soon.
They hit a few roadblocks and decide it's not worth the effort. But the people who persevere are the ones who ultimately break through.
It's like Colonel Sanders with his famous chicken recipe. He was rejected over 1,000 times before he finally found someone who believed in it.
Talk about dedication.
Yes.
And the book also shows this fun anecdote about two friends with different approaches to dating.
Okay, let's hear it.
One friend keeps putting himself out there even after getting rejected, and eventually he finds love. The other friend gives up after a few setbacks and stays single.
It just shows that the more you try, the more likely you are to succeed.
It's the law of probability, and it applies to so many areas of life.
So we've talked about persistence, but what about leveraging other people's money to achieve your goals?
Mhm.
The next section is billionaires use the bank's money.
It's all about the power of leverage.
Instead of waiting years to save up enough money for an investment property or a business, you can use the bank's money to get started sooner.
But of course, there's risk involved. It's crucial to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt.
Right? Good debt helps you acquire assets that will grow in value or generate income, like a rental property or a business loan. Bad debt is what you rack up buying things that lose value, like that fancy new car we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes the importance of building a strong credit score so you can access those favorable loan terms.
A good credit score is like gold. It opens up so many opportunities.
It's your financial reputation. And the book suggests making a commitment to improving your credit score and really understanding its impact on your finances.
All right, get ready for a concept that might turn your thinking upside down. The book states, billionaires have more problems than you and me.
It challenges the idea that wealth equals a problem-free life. In fact, the author argues that the bigger your goals, the bigger the problems you're likely to face.
But it's not about avoiding problems. It's about developing a problem-solving mindset.
Exactly. The book introduces this concept called adversity quotient, AQ. It's basically a measure of your ability to deal with tough situations. And guess what? Billionaires tend to have a high AQ.
Because they see problems as opportunities for growth and learning. They don't shy away from challenges, they embrace them.
It's about becoming more resilient and resourceful.
And the author suggests spending at least 15 minutes thinking through a problem before seeking help from others.
That's great advice. It encourages us to take ownership of our challenges and develop our problem-solving skills.
Okay, that was a lot. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We explored how billionaires think about money, the importance of vision, commitment, wisdom, risk-taking, persistence, leverage, and even problem-solving.
We did. It's been a fascinating journey so far, and we're just getting started.
Before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, let's zoom in on one of the most crucial concepts from the book, commitment to the vision.
It's about moving from dreaming to doing. It's about making a concrete plan to turn your vision into reality.
The book suggests formally committing to the process, writing it down, and dating it. And the author offers this powerful statement for us to consider.
Ready for it. It's
Yeah.
a bit long, but really impactful.
Hit me with it. I'm ready.
Okay, here it is. I am making a commitment to change what is in me, thus changing the life that is coming out of me. I will begin to think like a billionaire. I will begin to have God's thoughts so I can have his ways. I will change what is in my heart so I change what comes into my life. I am committed to doing the things I list in my journal.
Wow. That's powerful. It's like a declaration of intention.
Right. It's a commitment to align your actions with your vision and take ownership of your financial future.
We need to create a roadmap for achieving our financial goals.
Absolutely. It's time to move beyond just thinking about it and get into that doing phase. And the book suggests starting with a detailed budget. Outline your income, your expenses, and this is key, how much you're going to allocate to investments.
Makes sense. But you know what I found really interesting? The author's approach to budgeting is kind of unique. He says your tithe, offerings, and investments, those should be treated like your most important bills.
Huh.
They come first, above everything else.
It's a great way to put it. It really challenges that conventional wisdom of budgeting for our needs and wants first, and then seeing what's left over. Instead, we're prioritizing our long-term vision and our spiritual growth right from the start.
Totally. It's about aligning your spending with your values.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? When you put your spiritual and financial growth first, it creates space for abundance to flow in. At least that's what I'm thinking.
I love that. And the book goes on to offer some really specific strategies for managing expenses and creating a budget that truly supports your vision. It really emphasizes eliminating unnecessary spending and then channeling those funds toward investments that will grow your wealth.
He talks about those sneaky little bad habits that we all have, the daily lattes, the impulse buys online, those subscription services that we barely use.
Oh, I know those all too well. It's amazing how much money we waste on things we don't even really need or enjoy.
I know, right? And the book actually gives this crazy example. It shows how cutting out even a daily soda, like just one soda a day, and investing that money instead could potentially add up to millions of dollars over a lifetime.
That's the magic of compounding in action. Small, consistent choices can lead to massive results.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. So the challenge is to identify those bad habits, figure out how much they're costing us, and then commit to getting rid of them.
And then, like you said, we take that money and put it straight into our investments. It's a simple concept, but it takes discipline and a shift in perspective for sure.
Okay, so the book gets into some really specific areas where we can apply these principles. And the first one that jumped out at me was about cars.
The author says that brand new cars are one of the biggest wealth stealers out there.
I know, it's all about depreciation. That new car smell might be nice, but that new car value drops like a rock the second you drive it off the lot.
It's true. The author suggests focusing on buying used cars that are a few years old and have a good track record for reliability.
Yeah, save a ton of money in the long run. And he gives some clear principles for buying and selling cars, too. He says never buy a car over 4 years old or with more than 60,000 miles on it.
Makes sense.
And try to find one that's still under factory warranty. And this one surprised me. Never buy from a dealer.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, and always sell your cars privately. Like through online platforms like AutoTrader or something. That way you can cut out the middleman and usually get a much better price.
It might take a little more effort to sell it yourself, but it sounds like it can really pay off.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk real estate. This is a big one. The book is all about using real estate as a powerful wealth-building tool,
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite topics.
but it emphasizes doing it the right way.
Which is?
When it comes to your primary residence, the author suggests focusing on location. Location.
The golden rule of real estate.
He says, choose a desirable area with strong potential for appreciation, even if it means starting with a smaller or more modest home.
Don't get caught up in that keeping up with the Joneses thing. I know it's tempting to go for that bigger, fancier house, but it can really tie up your capital and limit your options down the road.
It's about thinking long-term and focusing on value appreciation rather than just short-term lifestyle inflation.
Exactly.
And you know what else he suggests considering?
Hmm.
New construction homes.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because new construction often comes with built-in equity right from the start. Construction costs are always going up, so you're kind of getting ahead of the curve when it comes to building wealth through real estate.
Makes sense.
But there's a catch.
Oh, I bet I can guess.
Don't go crazy with the upgrades.
You got it. All those fancy upgrades might sound tempting, but they often don't translate into a dollar-for-dollar return when you go to sell. So true. It's all about being mindful of your return on investment. Don't get swept up in the excitement and make choices that won't actually benefit you financially down the road.
It's about being strategic and making decisions that will support your long-term goals.
Exactly. And beyond those practical considerations, the book also stresses the importance of location when choosing a home. Think about factors like school districts, proximity to amenities, and the overall desirability of the neighborhood. These can have a huge impact on your home's resale value down the line.
It's so true. Those things might not seem as important when you're caught up in the excitement of finding a house you love, but they can make a big difference in the long run.
Okay. And of course, we have to talk about investment properties. The author is a big advocate for using rental properties to create passive income and build long-term wealth.
Rental properties can be a fantastic way to diversify your portfolio and generate cash flow. Yeah. And he gives some great advice for identifying promising rental markets and analyzing potential properties. He even gets into how to manage that rental income effectively, which can be a game changer for anyone looking to build a real estate empire.
And the best part is you don't need a ton of capital to get started.
Right. The author talks about partnering with others or exploring creative financing options to make it happen, even if you're starting small.
Love that. It makes real estate investing accessible to a wider range of people.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's close to both of our hearts. Work ethic. The book has this super thought-provoking section called Billionaires Work Harder Than You and Me.
The title alone is a wake-up call.
Right. And I think there's this misconception out there that once you're wealthy, you can just kick back and relax. But that's clearly not the case.
Absolutely not. This section really challenges that notion. It highlights the importance of dedication, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Successful people don't get to where they are by accident. They work incredibly hard to get there.
It's about recognizing that success is earned, not given. And the author argues that the most successful people are often the hardest workers in the room. They're not afraid to put in the extra effort, go the extra mile, and constantly strive to improve their skills and knowledge.
It's about having that growth mindset and constantly pushing yourself to become better.
Right. And you know what? The book offers this practical way to incorporate this philosophy into our lives.
Tell me.
He introduces this idea of giving 5% more than what's expected in everything you do.
I love that.
Whether it's your job, your relationships, or your personal pursuits, always strive to go above and beyond. And he really walks the talk. He shares this story about his own father who built a successful career by consistently outworking his peers and demonstrating unwavering dedication to his craft.
It's a great example of how a strong work ethic can really create opportunities and propel you towards success.
And the author even gives some really practical tips for applying this 5% more philosophy in our own lives.
Ooh, I'm all ears.
He says, always maintain a positive attitude. Focus on making your boss successful.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
Figure out what's most important to your boss and prioritize those things. And, okay, this will make me laugh, but it's true. Don't be afraid to brown nose a little. Be loyal. Be a reliable and supportive member of the team. And be mindful of the perceptions you create in the workplace.
Those might seem like simple principles, but I can see how they would make a huge difference when applied consistently.
Right. It can really impact your career trajectory and your overall success in life. And the author also talks about the importance of making your boss look good. Because, hey, when they succeed, you succeed. It's about adopting that win-win mindset and focusing on creating value for everyone around you.
It's a great reminder that success is often a team effort. When you contribute to the success of others, you ultimately elevate yourself too.
And a book even has this funny anecdote about how the author used to strategically position himself to be seen working hard whenever his manager was around.
Oh, I love it. A little strategic visibility never hurts. Right.
Exactly. And it's not about being fake or manipulative. It's about understanding those workplace dynamics and using them to your advantage.
It's about being smart and playing the game well.
And you know, the book really emphasizes that building a reputation for hard work, dedication, and loyalty can unlock some amazing opportunities.
It's about showing up consistently and proving your value.
The book emphasizes this really strongly. It says, billionaires guard their time more than you and me.
Powerful statement.
It's a reminder that time is our most precious asset, and we can't get it back once it's gone. So how we choose to spend our time really matters.
Absolutely. And the book argues that successful people are incredibly intentional about how they manage their time. They understand that every minute is an investment, and they're laser focused on maximizing the return on that investment.
Yeah, and the first step is recognizing those distractions and unproductive activities that are sucking up our time and energy. Maybe it's scrolling through social media, binge watching TV shows, or getting caught up in unproductive conversations.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of some of those. It's about creating boundaries around your time and prioritizing those activities that truly align with your vision and your goals.
It's about being the guardian of your time, right?
Exactly. And I love this analogy that the author uses. He says, nobody has the same purpose or destiny as you, and your time is too valuable to continually stop for them.
It's a little harsh, but it's a good point.
It is. We need to be mindful of who we're giving our time and energy to.
So the book challenges us to see our time as a gift, a precious resource, to be invested wisely in pursuing our dreams and those things that truly matter.
What if we all treated our time as if it were worth thousands of dollars per hour? How would that change the way we approach our day? How would it change the choices we make?
That's such a great question. I think it would revolutionize how we view and manage our time.
Me too. And there are so many tools and strategies we can use to become more efficient and productive with our time. Things like using sticky notes for reminders, recording our thoughts and ideas, and creating detailed schedules.
It's about finding what works best for you and creating a system that supports your workflow and helps you focus on what matters most.
Exactly. So as you reflect on this section, I encourage you to ask yourself, how are you currently spending your time?
Are your actions aligning with your vision and propelling you towards your goals? Or are you allowing those distractions and unproductive habits to steal your most valuable asset?
Remember, time is the currency of life. How will you choose to invest yours?
Ready for the final stretch?
I am. We've got some really interesting stuff to cover in this last part.
All right, so this next concept might seem a little out there, but the book claims you are a magnet.
It is a bit out there, but it's also incredibly powerful. It's all about the law of attraction and the power of our thoughts and beliefs.
Okay, I'm listening. Explain it to me.
The basic idea is that our thoughts act like magnets, drawing in experiences and opportunities that match our dominant mindset. So if we believe we're meant for wealth and abundance, we're more likely to attract those kinds of opportunities.
So what you're saying is if we're stuck in a mindset of scarcity and lack, well, that's what we're going to get more of.
Exactly. The book really encourages us to cultivate a positive and abundant mindset. Focus on what we want to create rather than dwelling on fears or limitations.
It's like we're sending out signals to the universe, and the universe is listening.
I like that. And the book even goes a step further and talks about the spiritual dimension of this. Our connection to a higher power can actually amplify that magnetic force.
Interesting. So incorporating prayer, faith, those sorts of things, that can actually enhance our ability to attract the resources and opportunities we need.
That's the idea. It's about aligning our intentions with divine guidance and trusting that we'll be supported when we're on the right path.
I like that. Okay, so the book also talks about how billionaires know what they want. We seem to be double-minded. What's that all about?
Well, it's about getting clear on our desires and eliminating any internal conflict that might be sabotaging our efforts. The author argues that a lot of people struggle to achieve financial success because they're sending out mixed signals.
Mixed signals. How so?
Well, they might say they want wealth and abundance, but deep down, their actions and their beliefs don't actually line up with those desires.
I see. Like that saying, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to be all in.
Exactly. The author uses this great analogy. It's like trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You're not going to get very far that way.
Makes sense. So how do we overcome this double-mindedness?
Well, the book suggests taking a look at our core beliefs about money. Identify those limiting thoughts or fears that might be holding us back.
Like what kinds of fears?
Well, maybe it's a belief that money is evil, or that rich people are greedy, or even a fear of not being smart enough to manage wealth.
Oh yeah, I can see how those beliefs would definitely hold you back.
Absolutely. So it's about recognizing those negative beliefs and consciously choosing to replace them with empowering beliefs that support our vision.
Okay, so mindset is huge, but the book also talks about the importance of our environment, like the people we surround ourselves with.
Oh, for sure. The book says straight up, losers are those who hang out with negative or uninspired people.
It's all about the company you keep, right?
Exactly. You become like the people you spend the most time with. So if you're constantly around negativity, scarcity, lack of ambition, well, those qualities can easily seep into your own life.
Yeah, no doubt. Our environment has such a huge impact on us.
It really does. And the book encourages us to be intentional about surrounding ourselves with people who are positive, driven, people who share our vision for success. Seek out mentors, role models, peers who inspire you to grow and become the best version of yourself.
Great advice. But what about those people in our lives who are constantly negative, those energy vampires? What does the book say about them?
It's tough, but the author encourages us to, well, create some distance from those who consistently bring that negativity into our lives.
Is that about being judgmental? Or
Right.
like abandoning the people we care about, right?
Right. It's about prioritizing our own growth and well-being.
Protecting our energy.
Exactly. Now let's talk about this really cool concept, giving your favor away.
Ooh, I love this idea. Tell me more about it.
Well, it's about recognizing that true wealth isn't just about accumulating money for ourselves. It's about using our resources to make a positive impact on the world.
Yes. Generosity. I love it.
hmm
It's about creating a ripple effect of abundance.
Exactly. And the author shares personal stories about how acts of generosity often led to unexpected blessings and opportunities. It's about shifting from that scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, recognizing that there's always enough to go around.
And giving doesn't always have to be financial, does it?
Not at all. There are so many ways to give. It can be giving your time, your skills, your attention, even just a kind word or gesture to someone in need.
So true. Now, the book doesn't just focus on these external aspects of wealth. It also digs into the importance of character. It says, I'd like to order a person of great character with a side of self-control.
Such a great line. It's a powerful reminder that true wealth goes way beyond just money. It's about integrity, discipline, mastering yourself.
And the book argues that without those things, financial success can be fleeting and ultimately unfulfilling.
Right. It's about becoming the kind of person who is truly worthy of the abundance we desire.
So we need to cultivate these qualities of character through our daily choices and actions.
Exactly. It's an ongoing process. It takes self-reflection, honesty, accountability, and a commitment to something bigger than ourselves.
And the author also emphasizes the importance of first fruits,
Yeah.
giving back to our communities and supporting causes we believe in.
It's a beautiful principle. It's about recognizing that we're stewards of the resources we've been given. True prosperity is about sharing our blessings.
I love it. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Think Like a Billionaire, I think it's important to highlight the author's closing thoughts. He reminds us that this journey to wealth, it's not just about financial strategies, it's about a transformation of our mindset, our beliefs, our character.
It's about embracing these principles, not just for financial abundance, but for living a more meaningful and impactful life.
Right. It's about aligning our financial goals with our values and using our resources to make a difference in the world.
And he leaves us with this powerful question. Would you work harder for $1 million? It's a challenge to really examine our motivations, our work ethic, our commitment to pursuing our dreams.
Powerful question. It really makes you think. Are we truly giving our all? Are we willing to step outside our comfort zones and embrace the effort it takes to achieve those extraordinary results?
It's a call to action. Dream big, take action, never give up on that pursuit of a life filled with abundance, purpose, and meaning. And remember, true wealth isn't just about what you have, it's about who you become along the way. Keep learning, keep growing, keep giving, and never stop believing in your potential to achieve incredible things.
So well said. I hope everyone listening is feeling inspired to take action and create the life of their dreams. Until next time, keep diving deep.